Hey everybody. Today just want to do a quick video on how to use rendezvous in LabVIEW. So this is a feature I feel like not that commonly utilized. I really don't use it all that much. I've used it I think I have one application that really uses it. Most of my architectures I feel like kind of lend themselves to not requiring these. But they are there and can be useful in certain applications. So what a rendezvous is it's a way to basically halt execution of code until basically different sections of your code all arrive to that rendezvous. So you can specify a size, how many things you want to wait for, and then once everything is waiting at that rendezvous, then your code can proceed. So let's go take a look at where you can find these rendezvous functions, and I have a little example here. So if you go down to synchronization in your functions palette, you'll find this little rendezvous folder, and here you're going to find all of the rendezvous functions, and they look a lot just like the other synchronization functions like queues, notifiers, etc., right? Where you kind of have your create rendezvous, where you can initialize a rendezvous, specify size, stuff like that. Your wait on rendezvous, which I'm going to talk about in just a sec. This is kind of the main function of the rendezvous. Resize, you can change the size, and I'll talk about what size means in just a sec. Destroy, when you're done for it, to remove it. Being able to read the status of the rendezvous, and then check whether a rendezvous is valid or not. So those are kind of your functions. Really simple to set up and use. Let's take a look here at just this simple example where I'm using this create rendezvous first. So if you notice, there's this size input, so I can specify the size of the rendezvous. And basically what that means is when functions are using the wait on rendezvous function on this rendezvous, we're going to wait until that many things in my code are waiting at the rendezvous. So 2 would mean this wait on rendezvous function is going to wait until it and something else are waiting at the rendezvous, and then it will go and proceed. So I could specify whatever number I want. Could be 10, 100, whatever you want. Just depends how much code you're trying to synchronize in that way. You also can specify a name. So similar to like queues or notifiers, you can have named rendezvous, and then you can go and retrieve those by name. There also is this return existing. So if you're specifying a name of an already existing rendezvous, it's not going to create a new one. You can return the named one that already exists. That's kind of your create rendezvous. So we're just creating a simple one that is going to basically wait until 2 pieces of code arrive at the rendezvous, and then they're able to proceed. You can see here at the end, I'm just using the destroy rendezvous. So once this code's done executing, we're just going to destroy that. And then in both of these loops, I just have a wait on rendezvous function. So the idea is we're basically just going to halt execution of that loop until both functions are waiting at the rendezvous. At which point both are, the loop will continue to iterate, and next iteration it'll wait until both are at the rendezvous before executing. If you just look, there is an input as well into the wait at rendezvous. So by default, the millisecond timeout is -1, which means it's going to wait forever. So it's not going to proceed until the size condition is met and it's able to proceed. Now, that sometimes you might want to do something like that, sometimes you won't. So you can specify a certain amount of timeout, which if this waits here for that period of time, it's then going to move on, and it will just output this true false for timed out to let you know whether it timed out or whether it moved on because the rendezvous condition was met. Both loops I have where we'll just iterate over and over again. So this one down here, I'm just going to plot a random value to a chart. And then here I just have a simple button so that I can either not have this top loop wait at the rendezvous, or wait so you can see how it can halt execution of this bottom loop. So let's go run this example. So yeah, right off the bat, we're getting data. Can show you what that looks like here. So basically we've got both functions are going to wait at the rendezvous until they've both arrived, at which point then we can move on. So if this one arrives before this one's going to wait until this one has arrived, and then they'll move on. So the highlight execution doesn't quite show this because it's only really showing data moving across a wire at a time, but that's the basic idea. So yeah, and then I can go here and I can click this hold button, and you notice it completely stops. So I can re-highlight execution. So this top loop is still iterating, but this bottom loop is just stuck at my wait on rendezvous because there's only one thing waiting at the rendezvous and not two to match the size that I specified here. Then I can turn that hold off and we go back to updating the graph because we now have two things meeting at the rendezvous every iteration of the loop. And I can, go back and do that as much as I want. And I could change that size, and I could have as many different loops as I want, and works like that. So that's kind of the basics of rendezvous. There's really not too much more to it. I mean, I didn't in this example really show resizing, but basically it's just a way to change the size. So if here I specified 2, but maybe I have a way to spawn up loops dynamically and I want to be able to resize that up to 3. Well, I can just use that and boom, now my size is 3. This is just to check whether the reference is valid. And then this just returns information, right? So what is the size and how many things are currently waiting and what is the name? So really, really simple. If you're looking for a way to synchronize different places in your code, right? This is how you can do that, right? I can make, multiple threads either in a single VI or across multiple VIs, basically wait until the rendezvous meets a certain condition, at which point they will then proceed. So a good way to handle synchronization. There's also lots of other ways you can do that as well. But yeah, just want to highlight rendezvous. They're available. And that's kind of the basics, the fundamentals of how you can use those. So I hope that's helpful. Thanks for watching.
Canon Controls is your gateway to mastering LabVIEW. Dive into programming for data acquisition, industrial communications, and manufacturing automation. Explore how to enhance your projects with cybersecurity best practices. Join the journey to elevate your skills and secure your systems with every episode.